Hi everyone, today we're going to tell you the story of Jonah.
He was a prophet, and it was his job to tell others what God wanted him to say.
That's my job.
One day, God told Jonah to go to Nineveh because the people there were doing bad things.
Bad things? They were just bad, full stop.
But God said, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and tell the people there, I see what they're doing. And they better stop being nasty, or else."
But everyone knew Nineveh was a big, scary place, but Jonah, he didn't want to go. No way, not there, ever. Besides, the Assyrians lived in Nineveh, and they were bullies.
They beat up God's people all the time.
Definitely not there. They deserve to get in trouble by God.
You see, what was going through Jonah's mind is that if he warned the people of Nineveh, they would change from their evil ways and God would forgive them. Because God always forgives people. And then they would never pay for the terrible things that they had done.
And that wouldn't be fair.
So you know what he did?
He did a runner.
He hopped on a ship going in the opposite direction to get as far away from God as he possibly could. Can you imagine doing a runner from God?
Not a good idea.
The boat set out for Tarshish with Jonah hiding from God below the deck.
But God wasn't going to let him off that easy.
So he sent a big and powerful wind that stirred up the waves.
It was the worst storm that the sailors have ever seen.
The sky turned black, the winds roared, the rain slapped the sailors' faces. Wave after wave lifted the boat into the air and sent it crashing back down again.
The sailors were terrified.
They were sure their ship would break in two. They started grabbing all their belongings and chucked them overboard just to keep the ship from sinking.
And while all this was happening, Jonah was down below, sound asleep.
The captain was so worried, he woke Jonah up.
Hey, what did you do that for? I was having such an awesome dream.
How can you sleep at a time like this? We're all gonna drown. Pray to your God. Maybe He can save us.
Meanwhile, above the deck, the sailors were fighting the storm with all their might.
"Why are the gods so angry with us?" they shouted to each other. "Who are you and why is this happening to us?"
That would have been my fault. I was running from God.
So Jonah told them the whole story, that he worshipped the one true God that made the sea.
He told them to throw him into the sea and they will be saved.
But they didn't want to. They tried to save themselves without God's help.
Again, not a good idea.
But it was no use. So they asked God for forgiveness and threw Jonah overboard into the sea.
The storm stopped at once.
The sailors were amazed at God's power and promised to serve him.
Now the story gets really interesting. God sent a big fish to swallow Jonah.
It was this big.
Actually, bigger, way bigger. The fish was so big it swallowed Jonah whole without having to chew.
I bet he had a tummy ache. It isn't a good idea to swallow without chewing.
Jonah was inside the stomach of the big fish for 3 days and 3 nights.
It was dark, slimy, and horrible.
And smelly. It was like being locked in a Year 7 boys' locker room after PE with their BO, sweaty armpits, and wet, stinky socks.
That's gross.
Hey, I take exception to that.
So as I was saying, Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights.
He had lots of time on his hands.
He thought about what he'd done and he prayed to God.
God, thank you for saving me. I'll go and do what you told me to do.
After 3 days, God told the fish to spit out Jonah.
Actually, fish can't spit. He was vomited out, also known as puke, fast, spew, hurl, technicolor yawn, and chunder.
Okay, I think we get the picture.
So God told Jonah again to go to the city of Nineveh and tell the people there to stop being so wicked and horrible and to turn from their evil ways.
This time, Jonah obeyed God. He went to Nineveh to deliver God's message.
Listening to God is always a good idea.
The people of Nineveh listened to God's message that Jonah delivered to them, and everyone stopped doing bad things and turned to God.
When God saw they were really turning away from the evil way of living, and not just saying it, God had mercy on them.
He didn't destroy them, He saved them. I knew this would happen. I knew you would let them off the hook.
But that's God's heart. He's slow to anger and always willing to forgive us when we turn to Him.
That's why God wants us to listen, obey, and go where He says.
Or there may be some people that God will save when they hear your message.
So remember, when God has a job for you to do, He'll give you help to see it through. All you need, He has in store, for with His grace, there's always more. So there's no need to run or hide. God is always by your side. So get on up and walk His way and share His love day by day.
That's the story of Jonah.